Hello everyone, welcome back to another live video and our models. So we're still working on the airfix B.II Lancaster. At this point, got all the engine cells on. Bomb bay doors are on, ready to take its payload in there. I put the ventral turret on. Rear wings are on. The vertical tailplanes are all made up, ready to go on. And I thought, whilst I'm here, I'm not far off getting ready to put the glazed areas on. We'll start getting them prepped for turrets, and also here as well on the main canopy. So I thought I'd do a video on it. So the way I like to mask up canopies, let's put this down quickly. So my preferred method of masking up canopies is using masking tape and cutting out a small section or a small area that fits the part and put it over the glazed area. So what we'll do, I'll just tilt the camera down so you can see what I'm doing. See if I can zoom it in at all. That's a bit too far, that's my chest. There we go. Right. So what we're going to do is cut out the main canopy off the sprue. One thing I always advise people to do when removing the clear parts is be really quite careful. They're generally quite a bit more brittle than your normal grey plastic, so they're more prone to sort of cracking and breaking. So it's always worth just taking your time, giving yourself a nice little bit of sprue to kind of when you're clipping, between where you clip and the actual part, especially on some of the areas where it's quite close to the edge. It stops the canopy from getting essentially bruised by sort of the pressure put onto it by the clippers. Once you've got that off, just gently clean it up to cut off the edges, any excess really gently, following the lines that you need to. I'll just do this one here for now. So that's pretty smooth just on there now. You can barely see it. And then I like to use a bit of really fine polishing paper and just go over the edge. I find if you're too aggressive sometimes you can take the plastic off too much, but all you're looking for is a nice smooth edge like you would anywhere else. So once that's all cleaned up, you want to start looking at masking up the canopy. And the tools you're going to need for this job are an engineer's pencil. This is one of the pencils where you can wind it in and out. A knife with a nice sharp blade on it. Masking tape. So this is just normal like household masking tape. And you also will be wanting a steel rule as well. Probably one of the more useful things you can have. It's a bit flexible as well, which is quite good. Other things that may help is a scribe. If you don't have this little engineer's scribe, what you can use is a piece of sharpened sprue. So first step I do is I take a bit of masking tape and I put it on my cutting mat, just down on there. And what I use this for is for taking my pencil and sharpening the nib on it. So I just scribble on it back and forth, holding the pencil straight and sharpen up the point on it so you get a really, really sharp point. Then take a small bit of masking tape. Doesn't matter about how neatly you do it. It's a bit awkward wearing rubber gloves with the masking tape, seems to stick to it quite well. But you basically place it over the canopy or the clear plastic bit and push it on real good. Get right into the gaps and push it as best up to the frame as you possibly can. You take your scribe or your piece of sharpened sprue and then you run around the edges really gently of where the frame is. And this kind of pushes the tape as far into there as possible. When you push it in there, it basically means that when you mark out the lines on there, your tape's not essentially going to lift. This is the edge of your frame. Your tape's sat like that. When you're drawing it, it's not going to sit flat against the edge of the frame here. Once that's done, you take the real sharp point of your pencil, you draw around the framework around the edge of the essentially pane of glass. some people will try and cut the masking tape in situ. I've done that before. I find that it's great when it goes well, but if you make a mistake, your knife slips, or you realise it's not in the correct position, you'll end up with sort of score marks across your canopy, which can end up looking quite messy and quite an obvious sort of mistake on there. So now I've drawn around the edge of the panel of the glazed area I'm looking at. You remove the masking tape and put it on the flat cutting board. Work it down nice and flat. Take your steel rule and your hobby knife. Place the ruler up against the line, and then cut the masking tape. Cut the piece of masking tape out using the ruler to give you a nice straight edge, and also it'll as you're cutting, it'll stop the tape from lifting as well. You're putting pressure onto it, so it stops the tape from lifting up. If you try and do it without that, which you will have to sometimes on some curved profiles, but just doing that, you have to be careful and take a bit more time with it. So cut all four sides of it out. Excess masking tape, you can use that again. Using your knife, just get it underneath it and lift it up gently. Before you press it down, use your scribe to point it really gently to move it into the correct position, right up in the corners like I have there. Once that's in position, push it down and then check you're happy with it. When you're happy, press it down nicely in place, so you roll over it like that. And now that's in. I'm just going to turn this lamp off, and it's glaring a bit too much. That's nicely in place there now. And then continue to repeat this for all the panels on here. You can do ones with curved bottoms and stuff like that. Even the one with the blister on the top here. As long as you push the masking tape around the blister, and same on some of the side windows for Lancaster, you push it around the blister nice and tight in, and then remove the masking tape, just cut it and then push it back into the shape that needs to go on. There are many other ways of masking. This is sort of like a homebrewed way of doing it. There are masking kits you can buy. There are masking kits you can buy, such as the Erdard ones, which I've never had experience with them, but as far as I'm aware, they are quite good kits, and they fit perfectly on there for each manufacturer's kit. So, but I just don't feel the need to spend like £10 on a masking kit for a kit that only cost me £12 essentially. So I find doing it with the masking tape is a perfectly good way of doing it. I've had pretty good results all the time with doing it this way. Some areas I will use other methods of doing it. So I use this Vallejo liquid mask. I'll use that, and I just use a crappy old brush that I use the same one each time. I'll pour a little bit into a little bottle lid like this and start to leave it set a little bit, and I'll use that on some areas like this Astrodome here. That'll probably get masked with liquid latex. I just find areas like that a lot easier to mask with with liquid latex than they are with masking tape. Quite often shapes like this, which is the front bombardier blister on the Lancaster, I find they're easier to do with liquid latex as well, or leave them off completely and paint the the framework on it by hand, and then just tidy it up with a bit of sharp sprue. I think it pretty much covers everything in this video. I hope you find it useful. If you like the video as well, don't forget to like the video. If you think of any other ways of masking up canopies, leave it down in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe as well. Thanks for watching, thanks for tuning in if you watched it live. See you guys in a bit.